The crossing. Captain James Miller stood on the bridge of the HSS Defiant, his eyes fixed on the main screen that showed the border between human space and the vast stellar empire. The ship hung in space like a knife pointed at the heart of humanity's greatest enemy. Status report, Miller said, his voice calm but firm. All systems ready, Captain, replied Tom Foster from the engineering station. The new shield is at full power. Weapons are charged. Miller nodded. He was a tall man with short gray hair and eyes that had seen too many battles. The crew around him worked quietly. They all knew what was at stake. For 20 years, the Stellar Empire had pushed humans back, taking colony after colony. The aliens thought humans were weak. They called humans soft creatures in their messages. The Empire controlled a third of the galaxy and saw humans as nothing more than pests to be removed. Communications, any word from command? Miller asked. Anna Wells shook her head. Nothing new, sir. Our orders stand, cross the border, show our strength, and return in 72 hours. It was a desperate plan. Earth's leaders had tried to talk peace with the Empire for months, but the Empire kept delaying, asking for more time. Intelligence suggested they were planning something big, something final. So here was the Defiant, humanity's newest and most advanced warship, about to do what no human ship had done in 5 years, cross into Empire space on purpose. Mark how many Empire ships are in sensor range, Miller asked his tactical officer. Mark Reed checked his screen. 3 patrol ships near the border station, 1 larger command ship, nothing we can't handle. Miller smiled slightly. The Empire had no idea what was coming. 6 months ago, a damaged Empire scout ship had crashed on a remote human mining colony. The ship's technology was mostly destroyed, but human scientists had learned enough. The Defiant now carried weapons and shields based on Empire designs but improved by human engineers. Time to move, Miller said. Helm, take us across the border at half speed. Let them see us coming. The massive ship began to move. The Defiant was beautiful in a dangerous way. Its dark hull was shaped like an arrow with 2 swept-back wings that housed the main engines. Unlike the round, bulky ships of the Empire, the Defiant was sleek and sharp. As they crossed the invisible line that marked Empire territory, alarms immediately sounded on the bridge. They've spotted us, Wells reported. Border station is scanning us heavily. Miller nodded. Let them look. Don't respond to any messages yet. Minutes passed as the Defiant moved deeper into Empire space. The crew was tense, but Miller seemed relaxed in his command chair. He had fought the Empire before and lost good people. This time would be different. Incoming transmission from the border station, Wells announced. Audio and visual on screen, Miller ordered. The main screen changed to show an alien face. Admiral Kren of the Empire was reptilian, with dark green scales and yellow eyes with vertical pupils. His uniform was decorated with symbols of rank and battle honors. Human vessel, Kren said, his voice translated by the ship's computer, you have entered Empire space illegally. Turn back immediately or be destroyed. Miller said nothing. He simply stared at the alien commander. Did you hear me, human? Kren demanded. Your ship will be reduced to atoms if you continue. The Empire does not tolerate trespassers. Miller nodded to Wells, who opened the channel. This is Captain James Miller of the HSS Defiant. We are on a peaceful mission of exploration. Kren's scales darkened with anger. Exploration? Do not insult me. That ship is clearly a warship, the largest human vessel ever to cross our border. Return to your space now. Miller leaned forward. We will continue our mission, Admiral. If you wish to escort us, you're welcome to try. He signaled Wells to cut the connection. The alien's face disappeared from the screen. That should get their attention, Miller said. Helm, continue on course. Mark, keep an eye on those patrol ships. Sir, they're mobilizing, Reed reported. All 3 patrol ships are moving to intercept. The command ship is powering weapons. Miller nodded as expected. Battle stations. Red lights flashed throughout the ship as crew members prepared for combat. The Defiant's shields hummed to life, shields that could do something no Empire ship could counter. Sir, I'm picking up communications between the border station and Empire High Command, Wells said, her fingers moving quickly over her console. They're calling for reinforcements. 15 ships are responding. 15 ships against 1, Foster said with a small smile. Hardly seems fair for them, Reed added. Miller stood up and walked to the front of the bridge, looking at the tactical display. The Empire patrol ships were forming a blockade ahead. They were striker-class vessels, fast, well-armed, and normally more than a match for human ships. Normally. They're in weapons range, Reed announced. They're charging main cannons. Defensive pattern Delta, Miller ordered. Activate the mirror shield when they fire. The Defiant shifted position, presenting its smallest profile to the enemy ships. On the screen, green energy built up around the Empire vessels as they prepared to fire. Incoming, Reed shouted. Brilliant green beams shot from the patrol ships racing toward the Defiant. In any previous encounter, this would have been the end of the human ship. But as the beams reached the Defiant, something impossible happened. The ship's shields glowed with a silvery light and the green beams bent around the hull. Then, like light hitting a mirror, they reflected back, striking two of the patrol ships with their own weapons. One Empire ship exploded instantly, the other spun out of control, its engines dead. Direct hit on two targets, Reed reported, his voice tight with excitement. The third patrol ship is backing away, the command ship is holding position. The bridge crew let out a cheer, but Miller raised his hand for silence. That was just the greeting, he said. Helm, continue on course. Let's show the Empire what one human ship can do. On the Empire command ship, Admiral Kren stared at his screen in disbelief. Impossible, he whispered. How did they reflect our weapons? He turned to his second-in-command. Send word to High Command. The humans have technology we don't understand. This is no ordinary warship. His eyes narrowed. And order all available battle cruisers to converge on this position. Whatever this human ship is, it must not return to Earth. As the Defiant moved deeper into Empire space, Miller knew they had made the statement Earth needed. But this was just the beginning. The real test would come when the Empire realized that humans were no longer prey, they were predators. The Empire squadron grew larger on the Defiant's sensors. 15 warships now surrounded the lone human vessel, their weapons charged and ready. The ships were arranged in a sphere formation, leaving no escape path. They've completely encircled us, Captain, Mark Reed said from the tactical station. His fingers moved quickly over the controls as he analyzed the enemy ships. 5 heavy cruisers, 10 lighter attack vessels. Captain Miller stood calmly, hands clasped behind his back. Status of our systems. Mirror shield at full power, Engineer Foster replied. Main weapons charged. The new drive system is running perfectly. Miller nodded. Against 15 Empire ships, any normal human vessel would have surrendered or been destroyed. But the Defiant was far from normal. Sir, incoming transmission from the lead cruiser, Anna Wells announced. It's Admiral Kren again. On screen, Miller ordered. The alien admiral's face appeared. His yellow eyes narrowed with anger and suspicion. Human vessel, he hissed, your technology is unexpected, but it will not save you. You are surrounded by the Empire's finest ships. Surrender now and your crew will be treated according to war protocols. Miller smiled slightly. Admiral Kren, we have no hostile intentions toward the Empire. We are simply demonstrating our right to travel through space. Lies, Kren snarled. No peaceful ship carries weapons that can reflect our energy beams. No exploration vessel crosses a military border. This is your final warning. Power down your weapons and shields or we will destroy your vessel. Miller looked around at his crew. Each face showed determination. They had trained for this moment for months. I'm afraid we can't do that, Admiral, but I give you my word we will not fire first. He signaled Wells to cut the transmission. He's angry, Reed observed. Wouldn't you be, Miller replied. Their weapons bounced back at them. That's never happened before. The Empire thinks they have the most advanced technology in the galaxy. He turned to the crew. They're about to learn they're wrong. Energy buildup detected in all Empire vessels, Reed announced. They're preparing to fire. All hands brace for impact, Miller called over the shipwide system. Activate mirror shield and prepare countermeasures. The Defiant's special shield hummed to life, covering the ship in a silvery glow. Unlike normal shields that absorbed energy, this one used Empire technology, improved by human engineers, to reflect attacks back at their source. They're firing, Reed shouted. Green beams from 15 ships converged on the Defiant from all directions. The bridge crew held their breath. This was far more firepower than they had faced at the border. The shield flared brilliantly as it absorbed the energy, then pulsed. Reflected beams shot back in all directions, striking 3 Empire ships with their own weapons. 2 smaller vessels exploded instantly. A larger cruiser spun out of control, its engines dead. 3 ships disabled, Reed reported, excitement in his voice. The others are backing off to regroup. Miller nodded. Now it's our turn. Target weapons systems only. I don't want any unnecessary casualties. Show them what we can do. Reed's fingers flew over the console. Targeting locked, sir. Fire. The Defiant's weapons were nothing like the simple lasers and missiles that human ships had used before. These new pulse cannons fired concentrated bursts of energy that could pierce Empire shields like they weren't even there. Blue energy bolts shot from the Defiant, striking 4 Empire ships with surgical precision. Their weapon systems exploded in showers of sparks and metal. Direct hits on all targets, Reed reported. 4 more ships disabled but crews alive. Miller nodded with satisfaction. Continue the pattern, weapons and engines only. The Defiant moved with incredible speed, darting between the Empire ships. Its new drive system, another technology adapted from Empire designs, allowed it to change direction instantly without the delay human ships normally experienced. On his command ship, Admiral Kren watched in growing horror as the single human vessel disabled ship after ship without taking damage. His tactical officer approached cautiously. "Admiral, we need to retreat and regroup," the officer suggested. "This human ship has technology we've never seen before." "Retreat," Kren snarled, "from a single human vessel, never." "Sir, they've disabled 7 of our 15 ships without a single casualty. They're only targeting weapons and engines. If they wanted to destroy us completely, they could have." Kren's scales darkened with rage, but he knew the officer was right. "Order all functional ships to pull back and send an emergency transmission to High Command. Tell them," he hesitated, hardly believing what he was about to say, "tell them we need reinforcements, as many as they can send." Back on the Defiant, the crew watched as the remaining Empire ships retreated. "They're backing off, Captain," Reed said. "We did it," Foster added. "For now," Miller replied, "but they'll be back with more ships, many more." Wells turned from her communication station, her face serious. "Sir, I've been monitoring Empire transmissions since we crossed the border. I've detected something concerning." "What is it, Lieutenant?" "Their encryption is good, but our new systems can break it. They're talking about something called the Planet Killer." She looked up at Miller. "Sir, it sounds like they're building a weapon to destroy Earth. The diplomatic talks were just a delay tactic while they finished building it." Silence fell over the bridge as the implications sank in. "Are you certain?" Miller asked. "Yes, sir, I've cross-referenced multiple transmissions. This isn't just a regular weapon. From what I can piece together, it's designed to destroy an entire planet, specifically Earth." Miller's face hardened. "Our mission just changed. We were sent here to show our strength, but now we need to find proof of this weapon and warn Earth." He turned to the helm officer. "Set course deeper into Empire territory. We need to find more information about this planet killer." "Sir," Foster spoke up from engineering, "if we go deeper, we might not make it back. Even with our new technology, there are thousands of Empire ships." Miller nodded. "I know the risks, but if this planet killer is real and we do nothing, there might not be an Earth to return to." He looked around at his crew. "The choice is yours. I won't order anyone to continue this mission." One by one, the bridge crew nodded their agreement. They had all lost friends and family to the Empire's expansion. If Earth was threatened, there was no choice. "Very well," Miller said. "Wells, keep monitoring those transmissions. Try to locate where this weapon is being built. Foster, I need the engines and shield at peak performance. Reed, prepare defensive strategies for when we encounter more Empire ships." As the Defiant changed course and accelerated deeper into enemy territory, Miller stared at the stars on the main screen. What had begun as a show of force had become a desperate race against time to save humanity itself. The hunt had begun. "Stealth systems active," Engineer Foster reported as he finished the final adjustments. "We're now invisible to standard Empire sensors." The Defiant moved silently through Empire space, its hull now absorbing rather than reflecting energy. This was another feature the human engineers had developed, the ability to hide completely from enemy detection. Captain Miller stood at the center of the bridge, looking at the star map that showed their position deep in Empire territory. They had been traveling for 10 hours since their battle with Kren's squadron. "How long can we maintain stealth?" Miller asked. 6 hours at our current speed," Foster replied. "After that, the system needs to cool down or it might damage the engines." Miller nodded. 6 hours should be enough. "Wells, any progress on locating this planet killer?" Lieutenant Wells looked up from her communications console. Yes, sir, I've pieced together information from multiple Empire transmissions. The weapon is being built at a place called Thorn Base. It's a research facility in the Vega sector. She displayed the location on the star map. That's 3 hours from our position, Reed noted from Tactical. Deep in Empire territory, what kind of defenses should we expect? Miller asked. Reed studied his screen. Based on intercepted transmissions, Thorn Base has the latest defense systems, orbital cannons, shield generators, and at least 30 ships on patrol duty. Miller frowned. Even with the Defiant's advanced technology, those were impossible odds in a direct fight. We need a plan to get in and out without engaging every ship in the sector. He called his senior officers to the briefing room adjacent to the bridge. Miller, Wells, Foster, and Reed gathered around the tactical table, which displayed a holographic image of the Vega sector. A direct approach is suicide, Reed stated plainly. We need something unexpected. Foster nodded in agreement. The Defiant gives us an edge, but we're still outnumbered 1,000 to 1. One ship, no matter how advanced, can't fight an entire empire. What about this? Wells pointed to a small moon orbiting the fourth planet in the system. Intelligence reports suggest Thorn Base receives supply shipments through this moon base. If we could somehow use one of these shipments as cover. Reed's eyes lit up. That could work. When is the next supply ship scheduled? Wells checked her data. According to the transmissions I've intercepted, a transport called the Drifter is due to arrive at Thorn Base in approximately 4 hours. If we could get their clearance codes, Miller mused, we might be able to approach the base without raising alarms. I can work on that, Wells offered. Their communications encryption is good, but our systems are better. Miller nodded. Get those codes. Foster, how quiet can you make our approach? With minimal power to non-essential systems, we could reduce our energy signature to match a standard Empire transport, the engineer replied. Good, Miller said. Reed, prepare a small team for possible ground infiltration. If we can get close enough to the base, we might need to send people in to gather direct evidence of this weapon. As the officers returned to their stations to prepare, an alert sounded on the bridge. Captain, called the sensor officer. Multiple ships entering the sector, large vessels, Imperial battle cruisers. Miller rushed back to the bridge. On the main screen, he could see at least 10 massive Empire ships moving into position. At the center was a vessel twice the size of the others. What is that? Miller asked, pointing to the enormous ship. Reed checked his tactical display. According to Empire identification signals, that's the World Ender, their most powerful warship. And he paused, his expression grim. It's commanded by Admiral Kren. He's looking for revenge, Miller said quietly. Sir, Wells called from her station, they're scanning the entire sector. They know we're here somewhere, but they can't pinpoint our location while we're in stealth mode. Miller watched as the Imperial fleet spread out in a search pattern. Can they detect us if they come close enough? Foster nodded. Within 10,000 km, their sensors might pick up our heat signature even with stealth active. Then we need to stay far away from those ships, Miller decided. Plot a course around their search pattern. We still need to reach Thorn Base. Captain, Wells interrupted, I've got something. I've intercepted the clearance codes for the Drifter and there's more. The real supply ship has been delayed by engine problems. It won't arrive for another 12 hours. Miller smiled for the first time in hours. That's our window. If the real ship is delayed, we can impersonate it without worrying about the original showing up. He turned to Foster. Can you make us look like an Empire transport on their sensors? The engineer thought for a moment. I can modify our energy signature to match a standard Empire transport. From a distance, they'll see what they expect to see, just another supply ship. Do it, Miller ordered. Wells, be ready with those clearance codes when we approach Thorn Base. Reed, keep tracking those battle cruisers. I want to know if any of them come within detection range. The crew moved with purpose, each focused on their task. The Defiant changed course, carefully navigating around the searching Imperial fleet. On the bridge of the World Ender, Admiral Kren stared at the sensor display with growing frustration. His scales had darkened to a deep green, a sign of his anger. Nothing, Admiral, reported his sensor officer. We've scanned 40% of the sector with no sign of the human vessel. They're here, Kren insisted. That ship didn't return to human space. Our border sensors would have detected it. A communication officer approached nervously. Admiral, a message from Emperor Vex. He demands an update on the human intruder. Kren's eyes narrowed. The Emperor rarely involved himself directly in military matters. This human ship must have caused more concern than he realized. Tell the Emperor that we are pursuing the human vessel, and will capture or destroy it before it can reach any sensitive locations. After the officer left, Kren's second-in-command spoke quietly. Admiral, what if they already know about the planet killer? Impossible, Kren snapped. That project is the Empire's most closely guarded secret. The humans can't possibly know about it. Then why are they here? Why send their most advanced ship deep into our territory? Kren had no answer. He returned his gaze to the sensor display, watching as his ships continued their search. Double the scan intensity, he ordered. That human ship has to be somewhere. Back on the Defiant, Miller watched as they approached Thorn Base. The massive research facility orbited a barren planet, surrounded by defense platforms and patrol ships. We're within communication range, Wells announced. They're hailing us. Miller nodded. Everyone ready. From this point forward, we're an Empire supply ship with engine trouble. Wells, respond with the clearance codes. Wells transmitted the stolen codes. The crew held their breath as they waited for a response. They've accepted our codes, Wells finally reported. We're cleared to approach Docking Bay 7. A cheer went up from the crew, but Miller raised his hand for silence. This is just the beginning. The hard part comes next, finding proof of the planet killer and getting it back to Earth. As the Defiant moved toward the base, disguised as an Empire transport, Miller knew they were taking an enormous risk. If their deception was discovered, they would face the combined firepower of the base and its defending fleet. But the alternative, allowing the Empire to complete a weapon that could destroy Earth, was unthinkable. The hunt had brought them to the lion's den. Now they needed to steal its secrets and escape alive. The Defiant docked at Thorn Base, its exterior now resembling a standard Empire supply ship. Captain Miller gathered with Reed in the ship's preparation room, putting on Empire worker uniforms they had created based on intercepted visual data. These won't hold up to close inspection, Reed warned as he adjusted his collar, but from a distance they should be enough. Miller nodded. We won't have much time. The real supply ship will arrive in 11 hours and we need to be gone before then. Lieutenant Wells entered the room carrying data devices. These are programmed to download information from Empire systems. Just place them near a computer terminal and they'll do the rest. Miller took one of the devices. Foster will keep the ship ready for immediate departure. Wells, you'll create a diversion if needed. He looked at them seriously. If we're not back in 3 hours, leave without us. Captain Wells began to protest. That's an order, Miller said firmly. The information about the planet killer must reach Earth even if we don't make it back. Reed checked his small concealed weapon. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Miller and Reed left through a maintenance airlock, entering Thorn Base through a service corridor. They moved carefully, following the map Wells had compiled from intercepted base schematics. Main research section should be 2 levels down, Reed whispered, checking a small device that showed their position. They moved quietly, passing several Empire workers who barely glanced at them. Their disguises were working so far. They took a service elevator down to the research level. As the doors opened, they saw a massive room filled with Empire scientists working on various instruments. At the center stood a large holographic display showing a weapon of enormous size. That has to be it, Miller whispered, the planet killer. They moved along the edge of the room, trying to look like maintenance workers. Reed pointed to an unattended computer terminal in a corner. Perfect, Miller said. They approached the terminal, and Reed placed one of Wells's devices next to it. A small light on the device began to blink, indicating it was copying data. 2 minutes for a complete download, Reed said softly. Miller studied the holographic display while they waited. The weapon was massive, larger than any battleship he had ever seen. Its design focused all its power into a single devastating beam. Look at the targeting data, Reed whispered, pointing to information scrolling beside the hologram. Earth's coordinates are already programmed in. Miller's jaw tightened. How soon until it's operational? Reed studied the display. According to this, 2 weeks, maybe less. The data device beeped softly, indicating the download was complete. Reed retrieved it and nodded to Miller. "We need to place explosives," Miller said. "Even if we can't destroy the weapon completely, we can delay its construction." They moved around the research area, placing small explosive devices in key locations. The bombs were another human innovation, tiny but powerful and undetectable by standard Empire security scans. As they finished placing the last explosive, an alarm suddenly blared throughout the base. "Intruder alert, security breach in research level 4. "That's not for us," Reed said, checking his scanner. "It's coming from the other side of the base." Miller smiled slightly. Wells created her diversion, "Let's move." They headed for the exit, but as they turned a corner, they found themselves face to face with an Empire scientist. He was older than most, with pale blue scales and intelligent eyes. The scientist stared at them for a long moment. "You're not Empire workers," he said finally. "You're humans." Miller raised his weapon, but surprisingly, the scientist raised his hands in a peaceful gesture. "Wait," he said quickly. "I can help you. My name is Dr. Lan. I'm the chief designer of the Planet Killer." "That's not much of a recommendation," Reed said, keeping his weapon aimed at the alien. "I was forced to build it," Lan explained urgently. "The Emperor threatened my family, my entire world. I had no choice." His eyes showed genuine distress. "But I never wanted to create something that could destroy an entire planet." Miller studied the scientist closely. "Why should we trust you?" "Because I can give you the complete plans for the Planet Killer, including its weaknesses. Information not even in the main computer." Before Miller could respond, another alarm sounded, this one different from the first. "Attention all personnel," announced a voice over the base communication system. "Imperial battle cruisers have entered the system. Admiral Kren reports the human vessel Defiant may be disguised as a supply ship. All docking bays are locked down for inspection." "They found us," Reed said grimly. Miller made a quick decision. "Dr. Lan, if you're sincere about helping us, now's the time to prove it. We need to get back to our ship." Lan nodded quickly. "Follow me. There's a maintenance tunnel that connects to your docking bay. We can avoid the main corridors." The scientist led them through a series of narrow passages. As they hurried, Miller contacted the ship. "Foster, prepare for emergency departure. Wells, meet us at the maintenance entrance to the docking bay." "Captain," Foster replied, "the base has raised shields around all docking bays. We can't break free without risking severe damage." "I can help with that too," Lan offered. "I have override codes for the base shields." They reached the maintenance entrance where Wells was waiting. She looked suspiciously at the Empire scientist. "He's coming with us," Miller explained briefly. "He has information about the Planet Killer." They boarded the Defiant, and Lan immediately went to work on a console, entering his override codes. "Shield control recognizes my authority," he reported. "I can drop the shields around our docking bay for 30 seconds, not enough time for the base security to react." "That's all we need," Miller said. He turned to Reed. "Detonate the explosives." Reed pressed a control on his wrist device. Throughout the research level, the small bombs exploded simultaneously, destroying key components of the Planet Killer project and throwing the base into chaos. "Shields down," Lan announced. "Now Foster," Miller ordered. The Defiant's engines roared to life, and the ship broke free from the docking clamps. The disguise was no longer necessary. The Defiant's true form was revealed as it shot away from the base. "Base weapons locking on," Reed reported from Tactical. "Evasive maneuvers," Miller ordered, "full power to the mirror shield." The Defiant twisted and turned as it fled from the base. Behind them, Thorn Base's weapons opened fire, but the shots either missed or were reflected by the shield. Captain Wells called, "The World Ender has changed course. It's heading straight for us." Miller looked at Dr. Lan. "You said you have the complete plans for the Planet Killer." Lan nodded. "Everything is here," he said, holding up a small data device, including proof that it's specifically designed to destroy Earth. Miller turned to Wells. "Broadcast that information on all Empire frequencies. Let everyone in the Empire know what their Emperor is planning." Wells hesitated. "Sir, that will reveal our position to every Empire ship in the sector." "I know," Miller said grimly, "but it might be our only chance. If the Empire's own people learn about this weapon, some of them might turn against the Emperor. Wells took the data device from LAN and began the transmission. Broadcasting now, sir. All Empire ships and planets within range will receive this information. As the Defiant raced away from Thorn Base with the World Ender in pursuit, the truth about the planet killer spread across Empire communication channels. The revelation that would shake the foundations of the Stellar Empire had begun. The Defiant raced through space, pushing its engines to maximum power. Behind them, the massive World Ender led a fleet of Empire battle cruisers in pursuit. Distance to Empire border, Captain Miller asked, standing firm despite the ship's violent maneuvers. 4 hours at current speed, the helm officer replied, but the World Ender is gaining on us. Miller turned to Foster. Can we go any faster? The engineer shook his head. Not without risking engine failure. We're already pushing beyond safety limits. On the main screen, they could see the enormous shape of the World Ender growing larger. The Empire flagship was truly a terrifying sight, a vessel designed for one purpose, to destroy anything in its path. Sir, Wells called from communications, I'm getting strange readings from across the Empire communication network. Our broadcast about the planet killer is causing reactions. What kind of reactions? Miller asked. Wells listened to her earpiece, her eyes widening. Rebellion, sir. Several planets in the Empire are declaring independence. Some Empire ships are refusing orders to pursue us. Dr. Land stepped forward. Many worlds joined the Empire through force, not choice. They've been looking for a reason to break away. Learning that the Emperor planned to build a weapon that could destroy entire planets has given them that reason. Captain Reed reported from Tactical, the World Ender is in weapons range. They're charging main cannons. Evasive pattern Delta, Miller ordered, ready mirror shield. The Defiant twisted sharply, narrowly avoiding the first massive energy blast from the World Ender. But the Empire flagship adjusted quickly, firing a second shot that grazed the Defiant's shield. The ship shuddered violently. Shield holding at 60%, Foster reported.